Hello and welcome to Pro Tips with Studio Pros. Today we're going to talk about the Mixolydian Mode. Those of you who have been following the series know how I feel about modes. Modes are this awesome tool that are so infrequently used in pop songwriting. Well, I should say pop songwriting these days because it used to be used all the time. The Mixolydian Mode specifically is by far the most used mode in pop music. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about as far as modes go, there's a link in the description below to the first video on modes that we did on the Dorian mode. This one is on the Mixolydian mode, but it might help to reference that one first. So whereas Dorian mode is based off of the second scale degree, off of Re, so in the key of C, playing a C major scale but starting from D and ending at D, the Mixolydian mode is based off of the fifth scale degree. So in the key of C, we start on G and we go up to the G above that. So if I were to try to make a major scale Mixolydian, all I'd have to do is change one note, and that is the seventh scale degree. Make that flat by a half step, and there you have your Mixolydian mode. So if I'm going to sing it for you, major scale would be Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Mixolydian would be Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Te, Do, Te, La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. That flat 7th scale degree is what gives it that characteristic sound, because everything else is just a major scale. Then we add that, so you get these nice sounds like and there are some incredible songs in Mixolydian mode. For example, at the end of Hey Jude, that na 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 section, which we cannot sing for copyright reasons, that's in Mixolydian. That's what gives it that epic power. Also, Bittersweet Symphony, you've all heard that one by The Verve. That one's all in Mixolydian. All Night Long by Lionel Richie is in Mixolydian. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. There are tons of pop songs in Mixolydian. And a lot of them will not necessarily be fully in Mixolydian, but they will have parts of the song that go into Mixolydian for a second. So when a song is not fully in a mode, it goes in and out of a mode. It just borrows some chords from certain modes. We call that modal interchange. So once again, that's if the song is just borrowing certain chords from a mode, but hasn't committed to that mode for the entire song. So now that you know on paper what the Mixolydian mode is, how do you use it? I like to use it in epic moments in songs. You can write an entire song in Mixolydian and it gives it a slightly elevated emotion, but also it works great if you just go into Mixolydian for a bridge of a song. It kind of lifts it up and separates it from the rest of the song and makes sure that your bridge isn't too boring sounding. But really it's to taste. You can use it wherever you want. People use it in all kinds of different scenarios. So what are the characteristic chords of the Mixolydian mode, right? Well, there's two characteristic chords for Mixolydian mode that are most often used. And one is flat 7. So in the key of C, that would be B flat major. It even just sounds good going back and forth between those two. And then the other chord is 5 minor. And so in the key of C, that would be G minor. So 1, 5 minor, up to flat 7, down to 4. So that 5 minor is that chord that kind of has that sad, reflective, melancholy feel. And it sounds good if you want to do 5 minor 7, that also works nicely. So there you go. That's the Mixolydian mode. To recap, it's just a major scale, but you take the 7th scale degree and flat it down 1/2 step. And the 2 characteristic chords that you want to be using in the Mixolydian mode are flat 7, which is B flat in the key of C, and then 5 minor, which is G minor in the key of C. And if you're feeling kind of fancy, I think the 4 sus4 chord is pretty cool too, which in the key of C would be F sus4. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This has been Pro Tips with Studio Pros. Please like and subscribe below, as well as leaving any comments or questions that you have for us. Please check out our services at studiopros.com. All of our musicians know all about the Mixolydian mode, or as the in-crowd calls it, Mixo. So please write a song in Mixolydian and contact one of our producers so we can get started on the song. Thank you guys. See you next week.